Hello and welcome to Azariah's Studio. My name is Sarah. I am the artist and designer behind Azariah's Studio. I'm going to demonstrate how to do a Nupp. A Nupp is an Estonian stitch that cannot be done by a machine. So this was a way that they were using to prove that their shawls were hand knit. You want to make this swatch to follow along. And just follow these instructions. I'm going to knit just a few stitches in. Oh, that's good. If you want to know, it's 6. And now I'm going to put a Nupp into this stitch right here. A Nupp consists of a series of loops. 5, 7, 9, 11. I prefer 7. 5 is a good place to start. 11s are large and they're more difficult to work because there's more loops involved and will take more practice. You do have to have an odd number of loops. Insert the needle into the next stitch as if to knit. Knit the stitch. Leave this stitch on the needle. You see I've pulled this loop a little bit large here, and it's pulling this one. It won't pull it out of shape, and blocking will take care of that as long as you don't pull it too far out of shape. Now we're going to yarn over. Back into the same stitch, like you're knitting it again. I've got 3. And now I have 5. Like I said, I prefer 7, but I can't do 6 because then if I drop that off, go over here, now I have 5 and a yarn over. I want 7, and get that stitch back and go into it for number 7, and now I have 7 loops on my needle. Just going to finish the row. My Nupp is there. Nupps are special because for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is they get closed or finished on the following row or round. No matter what stitch you're doing, if you're working Nupps and garter stitch or stockinette, you're always going to purl them together. So just work the return row until you get to the Nupp loops. Alright, here we are. So 7. I want to make sure I only have 7. I don't want 8. I don't want 6. If you count your row after completing a row that has 1 or more Nupps in it, it only takes 1, and you have an incorrect stitch count, start by checking your Nupp. So I want just 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm already on a purl, so the yarn's in front. If you were on a knit row and the yarn were in the back, you would just bring the yarn to the front. I hold on to the top and I wiggle through. Sometimes I pull them down and towards the back a little bit, and I come through the back. It depends on the yarn that I'm working with and what experience I have had with the Nupps on the previously. So wiggle in, either from the front or the back. It doesn't matter. You end up in the same area because you can shift the needle from the back to the front. Yarn around and pull through all 7, 5, whatever you have of those stitches and make them into one stitch. And then finish your row. I'll knit 1 row across and then I will show you the finished Nupp. Alright, and there's my finished Nupp. Nice and big. Don't worry if it looks like it's going onto the back side. Blocking will pull it to the front. You can use them to write words, to draw pictures, as accents. Now I'm going to show you how to tell if your Nupp ate too many stitches. Let me get back. Or didn't eat enough stitches. What that will look like. I'm going to show you from the front because that is most likely where you will find it. Reversing a Nupp this way is very tricky. I don't recommend it. We'll see how it goes. If I have a row that has a lot of Nupps and I have to rip for some reason, I usually rip back to the row before the Nupps instead of hoping I have everything, because a dropped yarn over or a dropped stitch in a Nupp is gonna loosen all of the stitches around it and make the tension uneven. All right, save these two here. So I'm just going to purl to the Nupp stitches again, the Nupp loops. All right, this time we're going to go too far, and it's going to eat an extra one, and you can see how easy that is to do. There's 8 on there. You can kind of tell from here. You really can't tell from the back side, which is where you're going to be working it most often. Even in the round, you want to purl these. On the front it looks fine, but you can see it's pulled over here. Let me do these couple more stitches. It looks normal till I'm working along and I find out that my stitch count isn't correct. So yeah, if I knew I had 4 here before but now I only have 3, then I know the Nupp ate it. Right? If you miss one, missing one is a little bit quicker to spot. Let's see if I can do this. There you go. Okay. So there's the extra. We're going to miss this one. You don't always miss one of the ones on the edge. Sometimes the loop in the middle can fall out, and like I said, that will mess with the tension of everything. But sometimes what happens is you're just working along and you do this one first and go, oh, my Nupp, and then you do your Nupp, not even realizing you've already worked the first loop off as its own stitch. Right. It's a little bit smaller, but again, nothing obvious until you go to count your stitches and you can tell, oh, wait a minute, there's a little something extra here. You're not going to notice it immediately. And that is how you work the Nupp stitch and a little bit of troubleshooting. Thank you for watching. Happy making.